if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, I'm going to say one of those things, like and subscribe, that sort of thing. But seriously though, if you guys subscribe to our channel, we do give a lot of free content out. We're going to be adding quite a few new things coming up very soon. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, there you go. Yeah. So we're live on YouTube now. All right. So if you guys subscribe to us, then you'll be able to see basically all the stuff that we come out with, all the free content, everything about this class, anything about our blockchain class as well, things about our other algorithm trading classes and much more. So yeah, so that's my spiel for YouTube. All right, so welcome guys, welcome to this webinar. I'm very excited actually to announce this class. This has been long in the making and a lot of people have asked for this. There's been very, very strong demand. This is coming from you guys, right? You guys are the ones that asked for this. So we finally were able to put together this class to teach you basically how to trade crypto, but not in the usual way. Trade crypto using algorithms, right? There's a lot of power to that. And there's a lot of really, really good advantages to trading crypto using algorithms. So we'll talk a lot about that today. But first, let me take you through the agenda and kind of tell you what we're going to cover throughout the day so you know kind of where we stand. All right. So, okay. So first of all, we're gonna go over who's on the call. We want to get to know you guys a little bit, right? So we'll go through that in a second. Then we'll talk about your instructor, who is Neil, who's on the call here, right? I'll introduce him in a sec, and you'll get to know him a little bit. Then we're going to go over an introduction of Lumiwealth and kind of all our classes and like what we do, right? We're going to talk about why we should use algorithms for crypto. There's a lot of really good reasons. For example, last night, if you had a bot trading overnight, Russia invades Ukraine. Wow, you could have made a lot of money if you had a bot going, right? Or at least prevented losing money, right? There's also a lot of companies that do this sort of thing. We're not the only ones talking about this, right? So there's a lot of companies, a lot of hedge funds that make a ton of money doing this sort of thing. So we'll talk about that a bit. We'll talk about our technology, and then probably the thing that you guys are most interested in is our demos, right? So Neil's going to show you some really, really cool stuff, showing off a lot of this different technology that we have here, showing it trading, kind of talking a little bit about how you can do some of these things yourself as well. And then of course, we're going to talk about our course itself that is going to teach you how to do this in depth, right? Neil's the one that's teaching it. I'm going to be involved in it as well. So I'm going to be, a guest lecturer on a couple of those days as well. And yeah, and it's going to be a great time. Cool. Right, so first and foremost, let's get to know you guys a little bit, right? So if you guys can type into the chat, which I see that some of you guys have already been doing, right? And I can see Venkat here, Ani, right? So if you guys can type into the chat and just let us know, what is your occupation, right? Where are you coming at this from? Are you software engineers? Are you, a lot of people run their own businesses. A lot of people are, financial advisors that come to us. So let us know what you do for a living, right? Tell us if you know how to program, right? Have you ever coded before in your life? We've made this course actually very easy for you. So even if you don't know how to code, we'll be able to walk you through that, and it'll be quite easy for you to get started, right? And then also tell us about how much crypto experience you have. Have you been trading crypto for a while? Have you not, right? So let me tell you about mine. I'll get this started, right? You guys type it out, but I'll speak it out, right? So my occupation, so I'm the CEO of Lumiwealth, right? My job is to basically make sure that you guys are happy, right? Making sure that we have some great classes, great instructors, and that we're building some really good technology to help you guys make money. Lumiwealth, that's what we're all about, is how to make money using technology. I'm a strong believer that software can significantly improve your investment returns, right? Do I know how to program? Yes, I know how to program. I've been coding for over 20 years now, not to date myself too much, but I started when I was like 12 years old. So I've been coding for a very long time. Name a programming language, I've probably done it. C++, C, Ruby on Rails, JavaScript, Java, name a language, I've probably done it. And then how much crypto experience do you have? I mean, I've been involved in crypto probably since 2016, kind of the early days, made a good amount of money trading crypto, made a lot more money building a company in the space. So I was, I think, employee number 5 in a company called Voyager. which is basically, it's like a Coinbase competitor. You could download it, you go to the App Store, download Voyager digital, Voyager app, right? I was, employee number 5 in that. I remember when we were, basically it's a couple people in WeWork, designed this thing from scratch. That company now is worth, last time I checked, $1.5 billion. Very cool to have started a company that is that large. And even cooler is the zeros in my bank account, which I'm very happy about. So yeah, so that's kind of my background there. But I see a lot of you guys coming in here. So Venkat, so a community member with AFCIA, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. No trading experience, some programming experience, interested about cyber risks as well. That's awesome. We're actually thinking about creating a course on cybersecurity. I know a lot of people have been asking about that lately, especially given the situation with Russia and all that. Wayne says he's a tattoo artist with a background in web and Garfield design. Oh, very cool. That's awesome. As of now, I just buy crypto. Very cool. Fernando, no crypto experience, a little bit of coding. Great. Thanks, Fernando. Well, in this course, you'll learn both, right? You'll learn about crypto. You'll learn a lot about crypto going through this stuff, the different exchanges, that sort of thing. You also learn a lot about coding as well. So this class is very beginner friendly, right? Ivan, software engineer with 10 years plus of experience. Hello, Ivan. You definitely sound like you know what you're doing. Zero experience in crypto. So again, so it's going to be our job to really teach you how to apply your awesome skills to the world of crypto so you can make some money. Ani, based out of Minneapolis. I run an IT hardware service brokerage. Very cool. But I'm very interested in adding software and automation into my skill set. You sounds like you're in exactly the right place, Ani. I'm still brushing up on my Python now. I love that you mentioned Voyager. Haha, it took me forever to get through their waiting list so I could trade on their platform. Yeah, they're a great broker. I mean, they pay you, instead of like Coinbase, which charges you crazy fees, Voyager's free trading and they pay you commissions just for holding it. Like they stake your coins for you. That was really like our big selling point. Our user base grew really, really, really fast. And not to mention Voyager token just took off. If you thought Voyager stock did well, Voyager token was like absolutely ridiculous. I think that was up like 100,000% or something. I was reading an article actually the other day that Voyager token was the best performing crypto of 2020 or 2021. One of the best performing in the world, which is shocking, but makes sense why the company went up by so much. Anyways, cool. Thanks for using our product. Gilbert, software development manager in the financial industry. It sounds like you're in exactly the right place. Started career 20 years ago as a programmer, though I haven't been coding for over 10. Okay. Crypto experience, bought some last year. I finished day 4 of the algo trading class and I'm absolutely enjoying it. Awesome. Thank you, Gilbert. I'm glad that you're enjoying the algo trading class. This is a very good pairing with that. So if you're using everything from the algo trading class, we'll teach you how to take that to the next step and apply it to crypto as well. Awesome. Unice, hello, I'm Unice and working in the media marketing management. I do not have experience in programming or coding. That's no problem. As I said, this is a very beginner friendly class. So if you don't know how to code, if you don't know about crypto, we'll teach you everything from the very beginning and you'll come out of this class with some great algorithms that you could run on your own. We're going to give you a bunch and we're also going to teach you how to modify them and create your own so you could trade. This class is going to be from day 1. We're going to be like right into like the trading aspect of things. So we're going to hit the ground running, but we're going to hit the ground running in a very beginner friendly manner. So welcome. Rodrigo, I'm in advertising. I have basic coding skills, mostly front end, very cool. And a little bit of back end PHP MySQL. Cool, awesome. So it sounds like you probably learned Python pretty quickly. I've started dealing with crypto for the past 2 or 3 months, but unfortunately lost my assets due to scam mining server.
No.
Lots of scams in crypto. We'll talk about this during the class as well. There's quite a few scams. That's why we're using some of the better exchanges, right? Coinbase, Binance. Scams are all over the place, and I think it's really important to know how to deal with that. So definitely we'll address that a bit throughout the course as well. And Rodrigo, hopefully you can put some more money into this and actually make all that cash back. Let's do it. Preston, bot trading for 1 year now, learning coding now, been in crypto for 5 years. Very cool. Sounds like you're in exactly the right place. Awesome. Welcome, Preston. Bennett, absolute beginner, 0, but willing to learn. Again, we've made this course very beginner friendly. So even if you've never coded before, we'll be able to walk you through how to build a bot and get, by the end of this class, I guarantee you'll have a bot working and running on your machine. We will definitely make sure that you have that going. All right. I'm even down to make it like a guarantee. I think we have a guarantee somewhere on our website. And then Matthew, I work in construction. Pulling underground wire is hard work, so I'm working on my trading in the evening so I can place my income and won't have to work 12-hour days. Makes sense. I started in Forex and move into stock market and OTCs. I own crypto currently, but I'm just holding it and staking it right now. I'm not really day trading like I should be. Yeah, I mean, staking it definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in staking. There's actually a lot of really cool strategies and a lot of really interesting ways that you can make money in crypto doing that sort of thing. Trading it, definitely lots of money as well. You'll see some of our algorithms, pretty impressive returns. You don't really have to try that hard to make money trading in crypto. That's really cool. That's a really cool thing about it. You know, in stocks, you know, it's really hard, or not really hard, but it's harder to make algorithms that make money, you know, doing basic stuff like technical analysis, right? But in crypto, there's still a lot of money to be made in even very simple practices like that. So definitely very cool. Welcome. Huda says, work in logistics industry, beginner in crypto world, zero experience in coding. Again, very beginner friendly course is why we made this for you guys, right? Made it so you guys can just join in. You don't have to have any prior coding experience. Although if you do have coding experience, I think you'll build some really cool stuff, but it is not something that's required. And Ani, has anyone gone so far as building a bot that can yield farm, a bot smart enough to jump exchanges automatically? So we're building, the way that we're building Lumibot is we actually will be connecting to a lot of different exchanges. When you guys start the class, there'll be 3. We'll probably be able to add that number to, you know, the most that we could add is like 100, right? Because we're using a base technology called CCXT as our core. But we're going to add a lot of brokers. So you will actually be able to do that using a bot to move things around like that, right? So we'll talk about kind of how you trade on different exchanges and all that. Very cool. Awesome. Cool. That's great. We have a full house here. Huh? We have a lot of people on here. Thank you guys very much for all that. This is fantastic. It's great to get to know you. You guys heard my spiel. So let me introduce Neil, who's the one that's going to be teaching this course. Like I said, I'm going to be guest lecturing, but Neil is going to be the one really teaching you guys how to do this stuff. Here's a little spiel on Neil. You know, let's break it down. Neil's a very smart and very good instructor, right? He's been making algorithms for what, 3 years now, something like that. You're making algorithms. Yeah, you've been making out. That's like exclusively what Neil does. He is obsessed with making bots and algorithms for people. He's built everything from options trading bots to futures bots, now crypto bots as well. Obviously, stock trading. Neil has a very extensive background in finance. So you want to talk about anything finance with him, he really understands that stuff very well, right? And of course, you know, if you want to build out a bot, he's your man. This is the guy that can help you basically figure out how to make bots that control the world, basically, right?
Yeah, right.
But Neil, I'll let you introduce yourself as well if you want to take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Appreciate it very much. And first of all, before I go on about myself, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedules to come and hang out with us here and learn a little bit about how we do algorithmic crypto trading. And hopefully we'll pique your interest and we'll get to know each other better in a course. But I'll give you a bit about background on myself. I guess I'll start with the current stuff. I'm the developer for Lumibot. I'm the primary developer. I guess I'm the sole developer at this point to a large degree. And I've developed a lot of the capability that's in Lumibot. When I came here, was it almost a year ago, I think now, Rob, maybe just a little under that. When I joined here, we developed a lot of capability, including interactive brokers, backtesting with CSV data, being able to do Forex options and futures contracts. It's been a good year for development, and now adding in the cryptocurrency capabilities. I'm really excited about it. It's kind of cool. You know, I teach a course in options trading, algorithmic trading. Now, options are a bit more complicated, but it's a really fun course. And we've had a lot of, good feedback from our students who are in that course. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to teach you folks how to put together some algorithms for doing crypto trading as well. And so I guess I'll give you a bit of more historical background on myself. I've been in and out of financial services my whole life. I've been either in technology or in direct customer facing sales. So I have a sort of a good mix of experience around investments and technology. I've worked overseas trying to build an exchange, a commodities exchange. I've worked in the States trying to build an online bank. I've worked with large banks in Canada. I'm in Canada, from Canada. And, and I've also had a lot of front client facing experience coaching them on how to either trade or invest their portfolios. And about 4 years ago, I decided to make a jump to do this, which is something I've always wanted to do. I'd always wanted to be a software developer, so I took a time out, and I do nothing but code algorithms. That's all I do. I don't do any other types of coding at all. My passion is for algorithms. My passion is for Lumibot. My passion is to help people trade better, and that's what I'm here to help you guys do. That's it.
Thank you very much, Neil. It's a great intro.
Had
Cool.
good material.
Yeah. Okay, great. So let me give you guys a quick introduction to what Lumiwealth is about and kind of what we do here. Lumiwealth, as I said, I'm the CEO of Lumiwealth. We started this company almost 3 years ago now. It's been a while. It's crazy that it's been that long. But basically, the whole premise behind Lumiwealth, the reason why we made this is because I have a very strong belief that software has a really strong role to play in investments. I think, investing without software, either to help you out or to actually do the investing for you, is eventually going to be obsolete, right? If you're investing without any kind of software help, then, good luck, right? And we're really all about providing you lots and lots of tools and abilities to do that sort of thing, right? So we have a course on blockchain programming. So if you want to build your own cryptocurrencies, we have a course on that. You can create your own NFTs, create your own cryptocurrencies, or something even that we've never heard of before, like, crypto games or whatever. We have a course on that. As Neil mentioned, we have courses on building algorithms for options trading, which is very interesting and exciting as well. Options are, quite complex, so it's kind of difficult to trade them normally, but if you have algorithms, it allows you to really get an edge there. We have a class on algorithmic trading. And then, of course, we have this class using algorithms to trade crypto, which is super, super exciting. Some of these algorithms, some of the back tests they see are like really quite astonishing what they're able to do. Geez, I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to, by the way, that have built algorithms in crypto are just making like a ridiculous amount of money. Hopefully we can get all of you guys in the same sort of position as well. Because I very strongly believe that crypto, it's a brand new market, and brand new markets lend themselves to new types of techniques like this quite well, right? So yes, that's Lumiwealth. As I mentioned before, we're on YouTube. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Neil, if you want to copy that and paste it into the chat, please, if you could do that. And make sure when you paste in the chat, you need to put it as panelists and attendees, right? So they get it as well, right? Yeah, there you go. So if you guys want to join us on YouTube, as I said, there's lots and lots of free content on there, right? There we go. Just subscribe to you on YouTube. Awesome. And Neil, make sure it's the panelists and attendees. You just sent to panelist only.
Host and panelists and attendees and everyone. Here it is. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there you go. No problem. Okay, so make sure you check us out on YouTube. We have lots of free stuff on there. We're going to be posting lots of things there. Make sure you subscribe to us and all that kind of thing, because we send a lot of content. Another really good thing for you guys to check out with us is our Discord channel. If Neil, if you could post that in there as well, please. The Discord channel is also extremely useful. It's basically like a chat room. If you guys have ever used Slack or something like that. It's a chat room where we have lots and lots of people on there, people that have taken our past courses, people that are interested in algorithmic trading. So if you want to ask about, some of our alumni, how they're doing or what they've built, some of them are a little bit secretive, but you can still have those conversations. But there's really, really smart people in there. So if you're interested in this space, if you're interested in crypto, if you're interested in blockchain, if you're interested in algorithmic trading, this is the place to be. Lots of people to converse with. It's a great place to get to know people and all that sort of thing. So that's our Discord. We also have a survey at the end of the webinar. Please make sure you fill that out. We're trying to improve things, so it's always good to get people to answer the webinar survey. And then also one thing I want to mention is Please ask questions throughout this presentation. This is live. This is not like a pre-recorded thing. This is live. We're going to be reading your chats. So please ask questions throughout. Don't wait until the end, because that's what makes it like really cool, right? That's what like the interactivity of it. That's what makes this fun. I personally love it. I know Neil loves it as well. And I think you guys will love it as well, because you get your questions answered. You don't have to wait until the end. That's the benefit of a live thing like this, right? Perfect. Thanks, Neil. Okay, cool. So that being said, right, let's jump into the core of this, right? So let's start off with the basics, right? Like, why do you want to use algorithms to trade crypto, right? Serious question, right? Legitimate question. Let's go over a couple of different reasons, right? There's more to it than this, right? There's actually quite a few more reasons than this, but these are some of the top ones, right? So first of all, crypto is a 24-hour market. And I don't know about you, but I like to sleep, right? It's just not possible for you to be trading this thing all the time. It is, you could stay up for maybe 2 days straight, but after that, you start getting delusional, right? And a really good example of this is what happened last night, right? Maybe you went to bed, at, whatever, 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or, maybe you didn't notice, maybe you didn't see this news, but wow, did the crypto markets notice? I remember I was watching this news at like 1 o'clock in the morning, because I couldn't go to bed. I'm like, geez, like, it's like a war starting, right? And you just see all the cryptocurrencies just take a dive, right? Everything has drops like 10%. And, if you weren't paying attention to this, you'd wake up in the morning, and I don't know about you, but if I lost 10% of my money when I wake up in the morning, I am not feeling happy, right? And algorithms can help you get around that, right? Like the algorithms, they don't sleep, right? When you build a robot, this thing is watching it 24/7, right? So Neil's actually even going to show you a couple strategies today that could have helped you with that, where, it's watching for momentum. So if things are starting to dive, it just exits, right? And waits for things to come back up again, right? Very simple strategy, but would have saved you A, a lot of heartache, and B, made you a lot of money, right? There's also a lot of other ways that you can take advantage of these types of swings as well. There's a lot of really cool stuff that you could do, right? So that's first of all. So crypto's 24/7. You could actually have a bot take advantage of that, because a bot can actually stay up 24 hours a day, right? Another thing is there's thousands of assets in crypto, right? And again, you guys probably have day jobs, right? You have things, obligations that you want to do. You're not going to sit there and read about 10,000 different, little small coins, right? But an algorithm can, right? Like you could use things like, there's really interesting, and we'll talk about this later, how you can like integrate different APIs and things like that into your bots that will automatically figure things out, right? Like one good example of that is a website called Token Sniffer, right? Where basically it looks over a bunch, like thousands of different crypto coins, and has like ratings on them. And it'll tell you, this coin looks like it's going to be a rug pull. This coin looks like it's legit. And they do that through different ways, like, is it new types of code, or did they just copy the code, right? Who are the people involved? There's a lot of different criteria that they can factor into that. And you could use that in a bot that will automatically find these coins and buy and sell them for you as they go through, right? That's something that as a human being is going to be very difficult for you to do. But as a bot, this thing could be doing it for you automatically, right? And there's a lot of other examples of APIs you can connect to and like really cool things you could do, right? So thousands of assets, you'll be able to actually sift through that, right? Another thing is there's hundreds of exchanges, and we had this discussion a little earlier, Ani, you asked about this. And you're right, there's like a lot of things you could do between exchanges, right? You could do like yield farming, right? So maybe you want to be on this exchange and you get paid more on this one, and maybe then the percentages change, so you could like move it around for you, right? There's also arbitrage opportunities, especially for like smaller coins. There's a lot of money to be made in that, right? Like I'll tell you a story. When we first started Voyager, Voyager, the trading app that I told you about, one of the premises at the beginning was we're going to connect to a bunch of exchanges, and we're going to do that because we could do arbitrage, right? Because the price of Bitcoin on one is 50,000. It was actually a lot cheaper back then. It was like 1,000 or 3,000, something like that, right? It was 3,000 on one exchange, and it's 3,050 on another, right? So why don't you buy it for 3,000, sell for 3,050, right? You're pocketing $50 in that one round trip. Now, for Bitcoin, that doesn't really exist anymore, right? But back then, Literally, it was really cool. And actually the CEO yelled at me when I did this, but I was literally just sitting there all day long, just buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, and literally made $1,000 in like 2 hours until I got yelled at to stop doing it and get back to work. But it was, made a lot of money and just doing nothing really. Now you can't really do that with Bitcoin anymore. Ethereum, they're too developed, but you can do that with a lot of these smaller coins, right? The smaller exchanges, the smaller coins, there's a lot of opportunities in that kind of thing, right? The arbitrages and that sort of thing. So, hundreds of exchanges is quite beneficial if you have a bot. You're not gonna be able to do this manually because it happens so quickly, right? But with a bot, split seconds really matter, right? If you're looking at this, you'll see it, and then by the time you open your app and like it's gone, right? But the bot is moving much faster than that, and that could actually take advantage of those types of things, right? And then the last one that I'm going to talk about, and again, there's a lot more benefits than just this, right? I could talk about this all day long, right? But the last one I'm going to talk about is that trends change really fast, right? So even if it's not overnight, right? Even if, let's put it this way, let's say that Ukraine invasion happened during the day and you were like in a work meeting or something, or you're out doing whatever. I mean, Bitcoin moves real fast, like you could see like a 5% drop over the course of like 10 minutes sometimes, right? Or even for the smaller coins, they move even faster, right? You can't physically, like you're not going to stare at your screen all day long, right? Like you have a life, you need to do things, right? But this bot can be doing that for you. It could be constantly checking this. If something's going on, exit it for you and automatically get back in, or when it sees opportunities, jump on them, right? Like these are things that a bot can do that like a human being really would have a very hard time doing. If not, it's impossible to do, right? So lots of really good reasons to use algorithms for crypto specifically, for stocks as well, right? And we'll show you some companies that do that sort of thing, but definitely lots and lots of good reasons to use these bots. I see a couple chat messages coming in here. Would my bot be restricted if I live in the state of New York because I don't have access to a lot of exchanges? Yeah, so Annie's right about that. There is, you can set up a VPN. There's also something that I learned about, what was this, yesterday was one of our developers was talking about this, Hayden. There's actually a way that you can like create like a virtual fake ID now using NFTs. I'm not super familiar about it, but there's definitely ways they can get around this. Like it's crypto, man. Like they are not going to stop you from using this thing. Between using VPNs and like these fake ID type things, like you can definitely figure out how to trade a lot of exchanges. That's not really a limiting factor. And then there's also just exchange, like for example, like KuCoin, like they don't really care, right? There's some exchanges that just don't really care whether you're in New York or not. So I definitely hear where you're coming from. I used to live in New York. The funny thing was when we used to make this joke because we were in New York developing this thing, and the joke was that we weren't even legally allowed to use our own app, right? So it's like. But there's ways around it. It's crypto, right? Like that's the beautiful thing about it, right? Governments are trying to stop it. Good luck, right?
Yeah, it can be a challenge, but there are ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to add one thing before we move on there, Rob. You were talking about the benefits of the algorithms, and I know in past I've talked about this, but for me, one of the biggest benefits is that it takes the emotion out of the game. And it's people get caught up in the trades and the swings, and then it's human nature to trade poorly at those times when you need to trade your best. But when you're using an algorithm, it just trades like a robot, right? So it doesn't have those emotions in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another question here from Matthew. It's like, would it end up being a problem when you withdraw? No, it is not, because all you need to do is put your money into Bitcoin, transfer it over to Coinbase, and withdraw. That's it. Like there's definitely ways around it. Like put it this way, right? Like if you want to trade on Binance, go to Coinbase or Voyager, go to Voyager actually, buy some Bitcoin, right? And then transfer that Bitcoin over to Binance. They don't need to know where you got it from, right? And you can start trading, do whatever you need to do, and then you can send it back, right? And then you can withdraw from Coinbase again, right? There's also ways around too, if you're worried about government tracking you or something like that. You could put into like coins like what was it called, Monero, right, which are like untraceable, right? You could like make your money disappear and like they have no idea where it came from, right? There's lots and lots of ways to get around this sort of thing in crypto. Really cool stuff, definitely. Cool. Thanks for the questions. Yeah, and KuCoin is definitely very cool. So KuCoin is one of the exchanges that we're going to have ready for you guys for this course, right? Okay, so so obviously there's lots of benefits to using crypto. Algorithms themselves, they've been around for a while, right? Like there's been companies making tons of money using algorithms for quite some time. This is not new, right? So here's a couple of examples of different companies that have used algorithms over time. One that I'm going to highlight the most, there's one called Renaissance Technologies, okay? It's a fantastic company. They were founded in like the 80s or something like that. There's this book here on Jim Simmons. Do you want to click on that really quickly, Neil? So there's a book about the guy that founded it, right? He was like a mathematician, and these things were very hard to do back in the day, right? Here's the book, The Man Who Solved the Markets. A fascinating read, by the way. Highly recommend that you guys read this book. But basically, it's about this guy in like the 1970s, 1980s. $2, I'll buy it now. Yeah, yeah, why not, right? It's a great read. I read it on Audible. I love doing the Audible thing. You work out or walk or whatever, and you can listen. I love that sort of thing. But anyways, so this guy, he started his hedge fund back in the day in like the 1970s. Took him a while to figure out how to do this sort of thing, because this was, imagine using like MS-DOS computers to build algorithms. That's like, like good luck. It's way easier to do these days. But they basically started this hedge fund and started, took them a little while to figure it out, but then they started making money, and then they really started to make a lot of money. So do you want to flip back to the other thing, Neil? Okay. So let's talk about this company that they created, right? Last I checked, they had $110 billion in assets, and they actually don't take on new investors. They give money back to investors. They have too much. They don't want any more, which is kind of crazy. The only way they can invest actually in their Medallion Fund is if you're an employee, right? It's employees only, right? But these guys, they've made 39% average annual return over the past 30 years. And this is not 39% like, oh yeah, the market was up 39% last year. Imagine if that was every single year for 30 years straight. 2020 was a good year in the markets. Last year was a good year in the markets. Imagine that was all the time, right? And this is uncorrelated with the stock market. So even in 2008, when the market fell apart and fell 50%, they still made money. You know what I mean? These guys do not lose money. There's like one quarter where they lost like 0.5% in the entire existence of their entire fund. It's crazy. These guys basically have like a bank machine in their office.
These are ridiculous figures. I mean, if you were to sit down at your computer and just go quickly find a calculator and do the growth of say $1,000, it's insane. Oh, you have it here.
Oh, we have it here. We literally have it here. So here's an example of that. And this is in stocks, right? So imagine what you could do with crypto, right? Like crypto does even better than the stock market, right? So if you could do this with stocks, imagine what you could do with crypto, right? So in the stock market, this is them trading in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, only early, I guess they're calling it aughts now, or early 2000s, right? Trading stocks, right? So we're comparing this to stocks. With crypto, you could do even better. I've seen like some funds that make like ridiculous returns, right? But they don't like to make that public because they don't want people to know how much money they're making, to be quite honest with you. All the people I've spoken to, they mentioned, they told me returns and then said, yeah, let me help you out. They never hear from them again, because obviously they don't want you to know these things. But these guys, they're so big that it's hard not to notice, right? They have, billions of dollars under management. And in stocks, let's put it this way. If you put $1,000 into the stock market, and the stock market's done very well over the past few years, it's definitely a good investment, right? $1,000 in the stock market over 30 years would have made you $17.5 thousand, right? So 17 times your money, that's great. 17 grand, that's, nothing to laugh about, it's great, right? Definitely invest in the stock market. I think it's a great idea, right? But these guys, if you gave them $1,000, instead of having $17,000 at the end of the 30 years, you would end up with 24 million. That's what these guys are working with. That's why these guys are all so incredibly rich. If you read this book, they like buy houses and forget about them. it was like obnoxious how much money these guys were making. Really would make AOC very upset, to say the least. But these guys are just making money hand over fist like crazy, basically like a bank machine in their house. So think about that. $1,000 into 17,000 versus $1,000 into 24 million. And that's in the stock market. Imagine what you could do in the crypto market, right? Crypto market being less developed and growing a lot faster than the stock market. That's Renaissance. That's one example, right? There's a lot more of these, right? There's Two Sigma also doing incredibly well. Last I checked, they're managing $60 billion. Citadel, these guys, they basically run the stock market. They do like high frequency trading and all sorts of stuff. They managed 32 billion last time I checked, probably a lot more than that now. Bridgewater, these guys are killing it. If you ever heard of Ray Dalio, Bridgewater is very big in this kind of stuff. They use a lot of technology and a lot of data science to figure out what's going on, right? And then D.E. Shaw, and this one's a fun one. D.E. Shaw is another one. These guys all use algorithms, all use data science to inform their decisions, right? D.E. Shaw is another really good one, and I'll tell you why. It's because someone who used to work there, maybe not personally, right? Although if you do, please introduce me. But someone that you guys definitely know used to work at D.E. Shaw. Does anyone here know who that was? And Ani, I definitely agree. Principles is a great book. His new book is even better, I think. Bezos, yes, that's right, Bennett. Good job. Yeah, someone's been reading their biographies. So yeah, so that's exactly right. So D.E. Shaw is a crypto trading, or sorry, not crypto trading, an algorithmic hedge fund. They use robots to trade in and out. And one of their early employees was Jeff Bezos, right? He actually helped build a lot of that stuff within the company. He was really young back then. He's like in his 20s when he was in that company. And going through all that data and understanding the data science is actually what gave him the idea to start Amazon, right? He actually, because he was looking at it, he's like, wow, the internet's growing so quickly, looking through all this data, he's like, why don't I start a company in this space? Came up with the idea for Amazon, and rest is history, right? Quit his job, went off to start Amazon, and there we go, right? So when you're working on this kind of stuff, when you're working on algorithms, you're really in some very good company, right? There's companies making tons of money, and obviously richest man in the world, or was, I don't know if he is now or isn't, I don't know, is it Musk or him, but whatever. At one point, the richest man in the world was actually working on building algorithms as well. Cool. We have some Q&A in here as well that I want to read. So Venkat asks, so DevOps and Agile, how they are used in this development. How do you know you are using the correct algorithms? So we'll actually cover that, Venkat. So the answer to your second question is, how do you know you're using the correct algorithms? Is that you want to back test them. So Neil's going to show you a couple of back testing results. So we have a process behind this. It's not that you just, wing it, right? You could be very scientific about the way that you build your algorithms, right? Where you can do a lot of research. There's a lot of ways to research what might be a good algorithm, right? Then you put together an algorithm, you'll back test it, you'll see how it would have performed over a long period of time. So Neil's going to cover back testing for you guys, can show you a few back tests. But it's basically saying, if I had invested in this strategy over the past 10 years, or actually it's crypto, what am I talking about? Past 3 years, right? Let's say if I had used this strategy for the past 3 years, how would it have done, right? And you can actually see what is your risk and how to do. And Neil's actually going to show you a bunch of those today. And then also ask DevOps and Agile, how are they used in this developments? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, Venkat, but you can definitely take these algorithms and put them on a cloud server. That is what I do. I don't like running it on my computer because I have a laptop and I like moving around a lot. So I run this stuff in the cloud, and you can do that too if you guys want, right? You could run your algorithms in the cloud. Another question here is Bitcoin, Ether, and other crypto mining. Please share your experience and suggestions. That's a very open-ended question. I'm not entirely sure how to answer that, sorry. I'm a big fan of Ethereum, love Ethereum. I'm a big fan of Solana. Those are my two favorites, and specifically because they're very good at building things with crypto, right? It's like, it's not just a coin, like a meme coin or something. There's actually like substance behind it. And we have actually a course on Solidity on how to build Ethereum smart contracts. And let me tell you, wow, that is super interesting. Like there's so many really cool things that you build with that. I like Solana because they're proof of stake as opposed to proof of work, although Ethereum is going to be switching over to that soon as well. All right. Another question here, Ani. Will you guys eventually have a Rust course so that we can build Solana ops? Yeah, we've been thinking about that. I mean, if you're interested in that, we can definitely get that together. The person who teaches our Solidity class also knows Rust. So if you're interested, and a few other people are interested, we could actually put that together as well. We just haven't done that yet, just because, you know, Solana is still kind of small, right? More people tend to want to use Solidity. And then also keep in mind that that Ethereum is moving to proof of stake later on this year. So their efficiency is going to get significantly better. So gas fees for Ethereum are probably going to drop by like 99%. I can almost guarantee you that the coin shoots through the roof at the same time, right? Because it's going to become way more useful, right? So, you know, people want to use Solana because lower gas fees. Ethereum is going to be able to compete against that very soon as well. Yeah, Matthew says Solana, Algorand, Polygon are my favorite. Yeah, I've heard very good things about Polygon as well. Algorand, I'm not super familiar with, but I've also heard good things. Algorand could be the future of finance, but what do I know? Yeah, I would actually love to learn more about Algorand. I haven't learned too much about them. Polygon, I actually met the guys from Polygon in New York a while back during, what was that? The coin, I forget the name of it now, but there's a conference that happens every year in New York, and I actually met some of the guys from Polygon. Really smart dudes, definitely doing really cool stuff. I wouldn't mind giving them some of my money, you know, like I think they're gonna do some great stuff with it, right? Okay, cool. So we've spoke about, you know, generally algorithms and why this stuff matters. So let's get more into the nitty gritty stuff now. All right, so what we've done is we actually have some technology that we'll give to you as part of the course. We've built out a library. We've been working on this for quite some time. You know, right now, Neil is the primary developer on it. I've built some stuff. We've had developers over time build some stuff on this. You know, this thing is really quite a good library. I would argue it's the best library in the world for trading this kind of stuff that's available without, you know, paying. There's better ones, I'm sure, but if you pay, you know, $50,000 in your JP Morgan and you want to get that, right? It's a different story. But for, you know, everyday people like us, I would argue this is the best library in the world for this sort of thing. Lumibot is something that we built internally. It's open source. We've been developing it for some time. It can trade it can do trading and back testing in one go. So it's really easy for you to like back test something. Oh, this is working. This is doing really great. All you have to do is flick a switch and it's live, right? So you can like write some code, see if it actually would have done well, like test it over the past 3 years. Would it have made us money? Okay. Oh, this looks really good, right? You can test around with it and play around with it. And Neil will show you some of that. And okay, this looks like it's actually going to make us some good money. Flip a switch, now it goes live and it runs for you, right? This library can trade stocks, options, futures, Forex, and now crypto as well. All right, so you take this crypto course, you'll also be able to take what you learned here and apply it to stocks or apply it to options or apply it to futures. So you're able to use the same library to do a lot of these things, right? And as I said, I mentioned this earlier, the 3 exchanges we're going to start off with is Coinbase, Binance, and KuCoin. You know, 2 of the most popular, and then KuCoin is a great one. It has leverage and you know, a lot of really cool stuff in there. This allows you to trade 24/7. You can trade up to like a trade per second, right? So we can go really, really fast with this thing. You know, this thing can literally trade. Think about this. By the time that you open Coinbase on your phone, we could have had 10 trades out already, right? That's how quick this thing is, right? We could trade multiple strategies at once and in different portfolios as well. We get historical data. We can access a lot of different coins, a lot of different markets. And of course, we're going to make this very easy for you guys to use, right? So Neil is going to show you a couple of things now and how to go through all this, right? But we really make this quite simple. Don't be fooled by the code. We'll make this like quite easy for you to go through, right? So some strategies that Neil's going to show you. This is just 4 of them, by the way. When you take the course, you're going to have access to quite a few more strategies. We're developing them as we speak. And we're going to, because this is going to be a live course as well, if you guys want some sort of strategies developed, we could also help you out with that as well. which is the really cool thing about a live course is we can actually go back and forth and modify this as we need to for you guys. But here's just 4 pretty simple strategies that actually have some great promise behind them. We're going to build a custom ETF. We're going to do some mean reversion, momentum, and we're going to do the golden cross and the death cross. All right. I'll let Neil, I'll let you take it away. I guess we have
I was just looking at the chat. Thanks, Rob. I was just looking at the chat and I was chuckling because they say they can't sleep tonight. I was looking at who's saying this. Matthew's saying he's not going to be able to sleep tonight. But that's the whole point of having the algorithm, so you can sleep. It's like that's what do you think we're trying to do here? Thanks, Rob. That was amazing. As usual, you always provide so much energy and excitement around every time we do a webinar. I'm always impressed by that. And I hope you guys got a lot of benefit. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit now, and we'll talk about some algorithms and just show you a little bit. This is really all demo stuff. So I mean, all the algorithms that I'm going to show you are sort of super sophisticated. We're just kind of for demo purposes. Some of them I'll just show back testing with, some of them I'll show live back testing and live, and some just live. So I'll get started. So the first one that I'm going to show you is something we call the custom ETF. And the custom ETF strategy is a strategy that basically rebalances a portfolio of coins. Now these ones are all against the US dollar, and we do for this strategy, I'm just going to do back testing with this one. But what I wanted to show you with this was some of the output that you get at the end of a back test that helps you make your decisions. And that's what this list is here. But I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of run one for you here. So all of this red doesn't mean bad. It just means I haven't. It just means I just noticed it's all red. It means I haven't put these into Git. That's all that means. So let's have a look at the first one. So before I run this, I'm just going to quickly show you sort of what a typical algorithm looks like. So we use class strategies to do all our algorithms. When I told you this one here is going to be a rebalancing portfolio, we set up our initial weights here. Now this is all custom. I just made this up. You know, when you guys do your own algorithms and your own ideas, you'll have completely different parameters here. But you can see that we're just assigning sort of just portfolio weights to these here. I added in a rebalancing threshold, which means that it won't rebalance unless it's more than 5% away from where it's supposed to be. This is to help cut down on the cost of transactions. I'm going to skip over a bunch of this stuff right now for this particular strategy. I don't think there's. I'll look more detailed at some of the next ones. But I'm just going to run this quickly. And when we run a back test, what you get is you're going to get a sort of a percent counter that tells you that it's running, and it'll go all the way up to 100, obviously. And when this is done, what you're going to get is a few things. You're going to get a printout on the terminal that's going to show sort of just what the returns were right away, and you'll see it come up quick, and it's going to disappear real fast. There it is there, and then you're going to get 2 outputs that are going to show up in your web browser. And so let's have a quick look at these because they're pretty cool. Sorry, I'm just going to close this chat window for a second. So now this is just a short test here. I'm going to show you a longer version of this in a second. But basically, this gives you a benchmark, which is this orange line, which is the Bitcoin, and then the rebalancing, which is using Bitcoin as well, but is rebalancing. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of using this one, this is the output of the test I just ran. I ran a much longer one earlier, and but I have it sitting in a file. So let's just go grab it here. So let's have a look at this one. This is kind of a bit of a longer term one here. And you can see this is a rebalancing strategy. It actually did pretty well. You know, there's periods where it climbed a lot more rapidly than it did with Bitcoin itself. But, you know, this was kind of a strong drop as well. But overall, you know, you gained pretty decently over this time period using sort of the setup that we had with those allocations for diversification. But also too, what you get is you get with each of them, I'm just going to zoom in on these a little bit. So when you run a back test, this is called Plotly and is a great Python library. And what we do is we show you what your actual trade was. So you can see, let me see if I can find one that's got a bit more going on. These are all kind of one-offs here. Hold on a sec, go closer to the beginning, we'll probably find something. Well, I guess they're all spread out nicely. But if you had multiple trades on one day, they would all show up in the same box. So when you are finished doing your back test, you can go back and look, and you can say, you can look at your indicators and you look at your signals, and you can say, well, did I get in where I was supposed to get in? Did I get in at a good price? Maybe I should be using a different type of order, limit orders or bracket orders or something along those lines. Sorry, not bracket orders, but with the cryptos that say, limit orders or stop loss orders, and they might help your entry. But yeah, anyway, so that's one plot there. You can also make them look a little cleaner this way. So these are all very interactive. And the other one that I want to show you is super powerful. You can't get more institutional than this. I love this tear sheet. This is called a tear sheet for those of you who don't know. And basically what it is it's giving you more information than you could possibly need about your back test. So let's start on the right-hand side here where this chart is. And on here, you're going to see you have like your time in the market. This is a diversified portfolio, so it's all in the market the whole time. But it looks at your cumulative return over the entire period. It looks at your compound annual growth rate. You have your Sharpe ratios, which is insane right now for this one. That's a really great Sharpe ratio. And then it has a whole slew of other financial ratios that are indicative of the performance of this particular back test, and also shows the benchmark as well, right? It also looks at your maximum drawdown, what your longest day drawdowns were. You can see it was a bit longer here.
So now I just want to mention, by the way, that benchmark that you see there, that's the price of Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Bitcoin did well. This strategy did a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, yeah.
Just want to point out.
Yeah, you can't benchmark against things like the S&P or something, because it's not relevant really. It doesn't make sense. If you go down a little bit farther on the right-hand side, you can see like periodic returns, best days, worst day, best month, worst month, your average drawdown. Like, it's just insane the amount of stuff that you have here. And then when you get down to the bottom, your worst drawdown days as well. And if you go back up and look at the charts now, you've got your cumulative returns, you've got the log scale adjusted returns, you've got volatility matched returns, you've got your end of year returns versus benchmark. Some of these charts are better for longer term analysis. Like this one's better when you're running 2 or 3 years or something like that. Your monthly distribution returns also a little better on longer terms. You have your daily returns, you have your rolling beta benchmark. These have to have a minimum of 6 months, which this doesn't have. But typically, if you're running a longer back test, you get 6 months. This back test that I did, just so you know, was on 1 minute data, and 1 minute data can take a little while to run. So I just ran it for a shorter period of time rather than having a really long period. But these ones here I love more than just about anything. So these two plots here, the drawdown periods and the underwater plot, show you the painful part of the back test. If you had held it, when would you have really been hurting, and what would have it looked like? So these columns that are colored here, these are the periods where it goes, where it drops down, and then how long it takes to come back up to the same level. So you can see here, it drops down, and how long did it take to come back to the same level? And so you can see, well, this is quite a little bit of a stretch. That means that from your peak, you would have had a little bit of time before you broke even again. And this gives you a good indication of kind of sort of what some of the painful periods would have been with your particular back test. The more jagged you have down here, the worse it is, right? So this shows you these periods, but shows you only the negative returns. So every time it gets positive again, it zeros. But then when it goes negative again, you start fresh and you get negative again. So this shows you the duration, but you can see, if you go across from here to here, this is actually quite a good drop here, but you can see it much more clearly here. And this is called an underwater plot chart. and they're really cool. The next one that I'm going to show you here are monthly returns. It's just a heat map. If you had multiple years, you would have multiple columns going down, and then some returns that are quintile based. Sorry, I don't have my chats open. I see there's a Q&A here. I'm going to, there's a question from Ben Cat asking, parallel programming, do you use parallel algorithms? I'm going to answer that question in 2 algorithms forward. The answer is yes, but I'll show you. I'm actually going to do one for you guys. All right, where are we? So that's that one. So let's go down to the next one here. So this one here is a reversion to the mean strategy. And basically the concept is that, you know, the farther you move away from the average, like let's say the stock goes up a lot, just ignore the slide for a second. Let's say the stock goes up a lot and moves quite sharply up, far away from what the moving average is. The reversion of the mean suggests that over time, those will tend to revert back to the average. And the same thing when you go down quite low, if you have a big drop, you know, there's a certain amount of logic that suggests that that low price will come back up again quite sharply. So this strategy, what it's designed to do is it's designed to take advantage of that. And I'm going to pull it up here now. It's called Reversion. And what I'd like to show you just to start is what's pretty cool about this particular strategy. We have the ability with Lumibot to just bring in libraries and just get, you know, easy solutions. So this one uses Bollinger Bands and the RSI. And just by bringing in this library here called Pandas TA, we're able to use Pandas and get all the technical analysis indicators that are out there in basically, you know, 1 or 2 lines of code, right? So, you know, now this is more lines than it needs to be. I'm using the complicated version, but you could literally do each of these in a line of code. And, you know, it's really cool because, you know, it takes the headache out of trying to figure all that part out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run this in a backtest quick. And then I'm going to run this one live in paper trading on Coinbase. So let's change this. I think we should be good to go. Sorry, I just want to see how long I made this. So that's not too bad. So I'm running this in backtest mode right now. So when we build our algorithms to do backtesting that we want to trade live as well, there's a very few slight differences on how we launch it, but they're almost identical. Most of the differences is in how we actually launch the code, because obviously when you're doing backtest, we have to add in our own data, right? But when you're going live, the data is in the market, right? So, so you can see here, I just ran this test, and we had a couple charts pop up for this. So we have, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I had a couple longer back tests with this too. Just give me 1 second, everybody. I did. So I ran a much longer test earlier, so I'm going to close those other ones in a second. So here you can see a much longer time frame. It would have taken a bit of time to run this because it's a minute data. But if I get rid of these arrows just for 1 second, you can kind of see the chart more clearly. And, you know, this is a pretty good strategy overall. What I like about this strategy, the mean reversion, I have to be honest, I was a little bit surprised. I put the strategy together thinking it wasn't going to work very well, and then it did work pretty well out of the gates, and I didn't have to do a lot to it. It kind of gets back to Robert's point, is that, you know, the inefficiencies in the crypto markets makes it a little bit easier to do algo trading. I've done a ton of algorithms in the stock markets for a lot of clients over the years, and it's much harder. It's an efficient market, right? So it's really hard to do. So this is kind of cool. What I like about this is that the volatility is significantly less as you climb up, sort of in a more steady climb going upwards. So let me zoom in on a spot here. I guess we'll come in here. So you see, again, you get the details of your trade. Now this is all Bitcoin. So you can see yourself when you're going in and out. Those are your sales. These are your buys coming in, you want to come in a little spot like this, you can get a little bit more detail on them, right? So you can see when your trades are exactly happening, you know, the exact minute of the day that the trade went through. And when you zeroed out your position and when you got a new position, you can look at the amounts. Here we're 5.13849. Here we're 5.12415. Because what I'm doing with the strategy is I'm changing the amount to match the increasing size of the portfolio. So as the portfolio gets bigger, then our units will get bigger as we go through time.
So Neil, so I just want to address this question here. So Annie asks, just to confirm for backtesting, where are you importing this data from? Or is it just like Excel sheet draft up with dummy data? See how the algorithm runs.
Sorry, can you just read it one more time? Because I don't have the questions up in front of me.
Sure. So Annie asks, so just to confirm for backtesting, where are you importing this data from? Or is this just like an Excel sheet drafted up with dummy data to see how the algorithm runs? So
yeah, that's a good question, right? So the data can come in from a wide variety of places, to be honest with you. The way that we developed the backtesting capability is that once it comes into Lumibot, it has to be in a specific format, but you can bring it in from any format. You just have to change it into our format and then you can use it. And that's what you see me doing right here in this little section right here, even with my own data. So, and I try to make my data fit Lumibot, but there's still there's still a few things I have to do.
So I think the question really pertains to more, is this real data or not? And where'd you get the data from?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was wondering how it comes in. Yeah, so this data that I've got here right now for cryptocurrencies, this is real data, and I've got it from a previous client. So that's why it kind of peters out about a year ago. But I grabbed it because it was minute data going all the way back to 2017. So, and yeah, it's all legit data. It's all real. Minute data can be a little bit hard to come by sometimes for that kind of time frame. So when you get it, you take it. Right?
Yeah, and follow-up question here is, can we export real data from specific exchanges, DeFi to run backtesting? That's that way it's real data, but not real money just yet. Yeah, that's exactly the point, Annie. So that's exactly what backtesting is you can get data, export it from your exchange, put it into a CSV file and run it like this, right? That's exactly how this is made, right? And in the course, we'll show you exactly how to do that, right? It's pretty simple. Go to exchanges if you have anywhere where you can get this data from. Yeah, it's definitely very cool, right? Because that's the whole point, right? Like you want to back test stuff because you don't want to just like put real money in right away. You want to see, is this a good strategy or not? So just like Neil ran this, he ran it with real data. You see, wow, this algorithm does very well. Not only is it beating the Bitcoin, not only beating the benchmark, which is Bitcoin, but it's beating it with less risk, right? Like, so you have less of these like disturbing things where you wake up and like, oh my goodness, like 15-20% of my money's gone. You're going to have less of that and you're going to have great returns as well, right? And you can figure that stuff out because you can get real data, you back test it first, you make sure that this thing would have done well in the past. Then there's another step that we say you should do as well is you paper trade it. So you can use like fake money, trade this thing with fake money first, right? Like live, right? And then when you're ready, then you can switch it and like let it actually run with real money, right? So that's like kind of the process there.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, those are all really good points. I think I would just summarize that up by saying that you can get your data from wherever you want to get it from. And all you have to really do is make sure it comes in this format with the date and the index of a data frame and with the open, high, low, close volume. That's all we ask. And everybody's data tends to have that. So if you have a source of data, if you want to get it from Finance, if you want to get it from web readers, if you want to get it from friend, it doesn't matter. Once you're happy with the data that you're bringing in, you just use it. Okay, cool. So is there any other questions? That's it. Okay, so I'm just going to run this live. So before I do that, I'm just going to close this out. Now this is another tear sheet. Sorry, just before we leave the backtesting, I'm just going to show you one more tear sheet for this particular strategy because it's over a bit of a longer period of time. So you can see here again is a decent strategy. Again, it shocked me. I didn't expect it to do quite so well, but it did. And what I liked about this is the volatility is, quite reasonable, and that's reflected in the Sharpe ratio here. It's a really high Sharpe ratio. For those of you who don't know, Sharpe ratio is sort of an industry standard risk-adjusted return. So basically, it's the return over the risk, and the higher the number is, the better you are doing per unit risk. So I won't go through the whole sheet again, but it's just kind of, so here in this, actually in this one, we start to get a rolling beta and a rolling volatility. These are metrics that we'll get into the course. I won't talk about them too much today. But again, more drawdown charts. It's just amazing, these charts, and how much information you can get about your trading strategy by running them with these tear sheets. Okay, so let's go have a look at here. So I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough. This is my personal account with $43 trillion. Oh, I just lost several trillion. So here is sort of this is called the sandbox for Coinbase. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here, but what I do want to show you is really cool, is sort of the main screen where you do all your trade, or you can get all your information. Now, when you're algorithmic trading, once you get really good at doing algorithmic trading, you actually don't spend a lot of time here. I don't spend a lot of time here other than just to validate some things are happening mostly. But what I'm going to do is just going to run it. We'll hopefully have a couple of orders pop up here, just so that we can see that they're happening. But it won't be that active because it's running in real time. So it has to roll itself over every however long I've set that for. Anyway, let's just run it. So I just have to change this now to live. That. Just run it. You'll see it'll look a little bit different this time. You're going to get some information about the markets popping up here. And you can see down on the bottom, an order went in already for Bitcoin, was sent to the broker. You can see it sitting down here at the bottom, actually. Sometimes it goes off quick, it's almost gone, so it's filled already. So that was the order going out and running. And then I have a sell coming because I'm rotating it really quickly. And I rigged it up so that it would do some sales and some buys, and we could see them quickly. Normally you would have your indicators, you'd have to wait for it to give you a signal to trade, but I wanted you guys to see some of the trades happening. So I just kind of had them come out right away. Yep, they come out, they get open, they fill pretty quickly, and away you go. Sorry, someone's just ringing my doorbell, so we may hear a bit of barking. Yeah, that's it for that one. So let me stop this. All right, cool. So I'm going to show you another one now. Let's go back to the slide. Let's have a look here. So this one here goes to the question that was popped up just a little bit ago about optimization. And I'm sorry, I've lost the name who asked that question. So I'm just looking at another question while I'm here, is how much does minute by minute crypto or equity data typically cost to acquire? I don't know. I've never paid for it. So, Rob, do you have an idea on that one?
Yeah, I mean, crypto data, there's, like you said, there's lots of ways to get it for free. There's search the internet, there's tons of ways. But I mean, generally speaking, when you're working with a broker, they'll give you like data, right? Like, so for example, stocks, I could tell you, you work with Alpaca, they give you 2 years of minute level data going back for free, right? Just by being a customer there, right? There's lots and lots of ways to get crypto data. I'm not even going to get into all that because there's like a million different ways to get it. But you don't really have to pay for crypto data unless you want to have like really in-depth data. There's stuff where you can get like Chainalysis has like really in-depth stuff. But most of it's like minute level data you can find around the internet for free, right? Like you could torrent it. Like there's such an active community around this. Join a Discord, I'll give it to you for free.
And even if you were getting serious at the level that Rob was talking about, I've had clients that I've set up for stuff like this on servers where, they just reach out and grab the current stuff every day and they just let it run for years, and they get a lot of as far back as they can go, and then they just keep replenishing it, and it never costs them anything. All right, the next one I'm going to show you is a backtesting optimization, which it also is going to be talking about using multi-processing and multiple processors in the computer. And one of the things when you're doing back tests is they can take a little bit to run. One of the tools that we can use to help in that is to try to use multi-processing, where you're using multiple processors in the computer all at the same time. Why is this important and why is this valuable? Let's go have a look and see. So if I go over to momentum backtesting, and this kind of popped up because actually I didn't write this particular script. Our new young coder, Hayden, wrote it, did a great job. And so I wanted to put it into the presentation tonight. But one of his variables was around what is the length of the momentum period that's getting measured. And the standard answer was 30, apparently. Now there's two moving averages in it. I calculate the second one off the first. And then I thought, well, this might be a fun exercise to do for the course tonight, where what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the bot on each of these length numbers. So 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. Now I picked 6 on purpose because I have 8 cores and I'm only going to use 6 of them. So that'll all happen at once. And it's kind of fun because it's going to run the back test that I showed you earlier. It's going to do the same thing, but it's going to run them all at the same time. So down on the left here, you'll see it start to run and kick out. And you'll see that the text gets a bit garbled because the processors trip over each other and then they kind of stop. And then when we get to the end of this, what we're going to get is all of those sheets are all going to open at the same time. So let's check it out. Let's make this a little bit here. So these are the multiple processors running. There's 4 showing, there's 2 not showing. Which is fine, and because they kind of freeze and then they just let one go, and then they when it gets to the end here, it's going to be kind of cool. We're going to get the 6 showing up, and then we're also going to be able to differentiate between them all and see which one is which when they all pop up. So here they all come, and I guess I should do this so we can see the tabs a bit better. So you can see all the tabs kind of popping up here at the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in about 2 more seconds, we're going to have the tear sheets. They're going to start to come up too. So here they come. They're a bit more computational intensive, but the processors, you see how fast the processors did them all. And across the bottom here, you can see, we've got 6 plots and we've got 6 tear sheets, and we can customize the title so that we can see which one we're dealing with. So I actually want to look at them kind of in order if I can. So if we go 15, and have a look at that chart. So this is where you can start to say, okay, well, what was the difference in changing the length of the period? And if I go through them in order, quickly, we can kind of see how, the lines change. So we'll go 15, 20. Well, that's not so good.
So the blue
25.
line is our strategy, right?
What's that?
The blue line is our strategy.
Yeah. 30. And now 30 is what's supposed to be the standard for this particular, it's called the awesome oscillator, and I think it's 32 is the standard, but you can see 40 is kind of nice. I think I skipped over 35 here. So it seems like, kind of 30, 35, 40 seems to be a sweet spot. And when you're looking at optimizing something like a number that's a length, there's not really a magic number. What you're looking for more than anything else is there a trendy area where that number is kind of better, as opposed to, like, if I saw 30 be really good, 35 be terrible, and 40 be really, really good, I wouldn't like any of that output, because it means that the number is too sensitive to a small change. But when we see something like this where we have 30, so where was I? Where's 30? Here, right? That's kind of good. And then you look at 35, that's the wrong one, 35. And then you look at 40, well, they're all kind of coming in around the same zone. That means that range of 30 to 40 is a pretty safe range. And that means that that's a pretty decent indicator that works well, right? And again, for each of these, then we're going to get tear sheets for each of these. I'm not going to go through these again with you because I've shown you a couple of times already. But so what we did here is we just ran 6 back tests. They ran in 30 seconds. All the information was up on your browser in no time. And I can tell you that this can get pretty intense doing this. So looking at something like length, let's say we had one other parameter called break, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. And that had like another 6 parameters. And if you start multiplying out all the combinations, it ramps up really fast, especially if you had, say, one more that had, say, on or off, a true false one, you can end up getting into the hundreds and thousands of parameters really quickly. And the reason why I mention that is because I've had back tests where I've done thousands of back tests. And what I do is I take something like this and I put it onto a server that has, 48 cores or processors with a really powerful RAM, lots of RAM and powerful processors. And it runs amazing if you go off into a database with that. So there's not really, this is kind of like the easiest, simplest one I'm showing you. The more complicated you get, Lumibot can handle that. And and maybe towards the end of the course, we could show you how to do some of that.
Awesome. And we got a question here. We actually got 2 questions here. So Ivan asked, so developing a strategy is up to us, or do we get a guide from you? So it's gonna be both, right? So if you have a strategy in mind, we can help you build that sort of thing out. A lot of people come into this course and have like some ideas, and we can help you kind of try some of those things out, help you back test and build it out. But you're also going to get a bunch of strategies, right? Like you're going to get access to all this code here. So all the stuff that Neil is showing you right now, you're going to get that code for free. You're going to have, or for free as part of the course, right? So you get to have, this code. We're also going to give you a lot more strategies in this, right? This is 4, right? We're going to give you quite a few more than this. And you'll be able to take this code, use it as is if you want to, right? You can take Neil's strategy and just like use it right out of the box if that's what you want to do. Right? Or you can modify it to do something a little different if that's what you want. Or, you could build your own from scratch, right? We'll teach you how to do all those things, right? Then there's also a question here from Ani, and maybe you'd be better to answer this, Neil. Do you want to give it a?
Yeah, I was just looking at it. So random question, my laptop uses a traditional multi-threaded 16-thread AMD Ryzen 7, but my desktop uses the new 12th Gen Intel hybrid cores. Still 16 threads, but it has 2 CPUs. Will these scripts work on 12 Gen Intel? Well, I think so, because the way that I can't say for sure, but I think so. Because what I do is I put, the cores get calculated automatically. So we use something called Python multiprocessing, and it has the ability to tell how many cores you have. And you just take a number off of that. So you don't want to use them all of at once, because then you don't have a core left on your computer. So at a minimum, you have to take 1 off. I like to take 2 off just to leave a little bit more sort of power to run my computer. If you have the more cores you have, then if you have how many did you say you have? 16-thread AMD Ryzen 7. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem to do that.
Yeah, Python.
Also too, I would mention that doing the multiprocessing is, while it's cool, it's not sort of the most common thing that we spend our time on. Okay.
And Annie asked another one. So yeah, I suppose if I can copy the code and just sample on my PyCharm on my desktop. Okay, great. Yeah, for sure. You could definitely do that. I know Neil's a big fan of PyCharm as well.
Yes, this is PyCharm. Yeah, we have IDE battles because we run the classes in VS Code, and I'm always getting tripped up in VS Code. I was like, where's the button for this?
One screen.
So I could run this live, but it's pretty boring. So I'm just going to skip over to the next one. So we're getting down near the end. Let me just go back up to the slides so we have some progression happening here. So that's a cool example of optimization. So this one here, I just wanted to put one more sort of last strategy in here. This is I love the name of this. I was on the internet and I was looking at MACD strategies, and it said Golden Cross, Death Cross. I'm like, okay, that's in. How can you not? So this is kind of cool. The idea is that you have moving averages. And again, like if when the moving average, you have a fast moving average, which is this one, and then you have a slow moving average, which is a much more gentle curved moving average. So this is a 200-day moving average. This is probably 50. Here it is, 50-day moving average. And when it crosses down, you sell, and when it crosses up, you buy. It's kind of, so this is the death cross of it going down, right? So you got to get out, or you can short. In this case, we just sold. And then when it goes up, then you want to buy. So let's have a look. I want to take a second this time and just have a look at the code a little bit more, because this is not a terribly complicated code. But this is a typical structure that we use for all of our algorithms. We used to do it a bit differently, but we like this better now. So we have sort of a main class strategy. We initialize all of our variables here. We set up how much time we want the computer to sleep between iterations when it runs. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but in the course, we're going to show you how to set up your parameters, how to update them. So you can see here, I'm setting up, two assets. One is Bitcoin and one's US dollar. And then this is the fast line, which is a shorter, smaller number because it goes quicker. And this is the slow line, which is 26 periods. And and then the on-trading iteration is where we do all of our algorithmic logic, right? So every time we roll to a new iteration, if we're doing it every 30 seconds, this will come up every 30 seconds. And this first line here, you see, for example, is just us grabbing the bars, for example, open, high, low, close. It's pretty straightforward, easy stuff to do. And once we have our bars, then we can calculate our MACD calculations with, this is all the line that it takes. Remember, I told you it doesn't take a lot of lines. This is all the lines it takes to do all our MACD calculations. Now we have them. And after that, then it's just a question of finding out whether it closes higher or less and submitting, creating an order and submitting it. So I'll run this. I don't think it's going to be very exciting, but we'll just run it. I think I'm not even going to go over to the Coinbase because I don't think it's going to trade. But what I wanted to show you here is that even though it's not trading, you can custom design your outputs here. Like I told my algorithm to print this out to the terminal so I can see what's going on. And I wanted to see in this particular data frame, I wanted to see what's the close price, what's the MACDS is the one that we signal off of. So I wanted to see it's changing. And then this is more stuff to calculate the signals here that I made. But what's really cool about this is every 30 seconds, it just rolls over and you see your next one. And you can put any information in here that you want to be able to track and see what's going on with your algorithm when it's trading. And one of the information I put in here is to say no trade, right? So like there's no signal, I'm not trading, I have to wait another 30 seconds. And this thing will just run, like it'll run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it'll just go. And so this is the part that I wanted to show you here, not so much it trading in Coinbase. There it goes again. So you can just kind of see it just cruising along. If I changed it to 10 seconds, it would be going much faster. This is a very important screen when you're coding. I find this screen to be more important than going to Coinbase or looking over there, because I can put in here what I want to see specifically for my algorithm, and it'll show up all in one spot. Incidentally, just before I move on to the end, one thing I didn't show at all, Robert, I just want to jump over and show the logs because I didn't do that. I almost forgot. So I'll just use these ones here. So when you get your strategies done, I showed you the tear sheet, I showed you the plot, but there's 3 other outputs that we have available for you as well. So I'm just going to show you these now. So this is the logs here. And if you'll recall, I was just looking at, well, that's a really big one. This might not go all the way. Let's see. Made it. Okay, so this is what I was just showing you just on the screen just now, which is here. This logging here in real live time, you just look at it here. But when you're doing it in back testing, of course, this goes crazy fast because you're covering a lot of time. So what we do is, instead of having it come up on the screen in a way that you can't see it, we put it into a log format so you can come back and look to see what actually happened when you were trading. Now, there's not a lot going on with this algorithm here, so it's kind of a bad example. But all this stuff that you just saw on the screen here, you would see this stuff in the log if I was running this in backtest. So let me just close this one down. There's 2 more that we have. One of them is trades. Of course, it's pretty important. So your trades here, this is the mean reversion strategy. It shows you the exact time that you went in or out of the market. So you can see here, we were doing like, I think 4 trades a day, 3 trades a day on average, kind of reasonable there for this strategy. And it shows you the strategy name, the exchange. I'll explain that more later. Symbol, buying and selling, what's the security type, the type of order that it was. It's filled. Here's the price, and here's the quantity, right? Now, why is this important? Well, if you wanted to do some trade analysis on this data, you could load this into a data frame in Pandas Python library, and you could really analyze what was your percentage win, what was your percentage loss, what was your time in the market, what was your frequency of trading, magnitude of drops and gains and stuff like that, it's something that you could do in a library, just having this data. You could do it in a spreadsheet as well, I suppose. And then the last one is our stats. This might not be a great example. We'll have to see in a second. Yeah, this is not a great example. I apologize for that. But all of our portfolios come out with this minimum information. It's the portfolio value, cash and return. If I scroll down here, you'll see the values changing, cash getting used up. Now, this is super important information when you're calculating returns and performance. In fact, it's this data that gets used that drives all of the stuff that's in that tear sheet, uses this data. But the one thing I wanted to mention, which I didn't do a good job with an example here, is that in our algorithm, we have the ability at the end of every iteration to capture other information. So let's say I wanted to capture the moving average, the data at that iteration. I could write a little bit of code, and then when we're done, it would all be here in this spreadsheet, and you'd be able to see what your indicators look like, as well as the value of your account. Okay, do we have any other quick questions? Let's see. Do you typically put in a line that says if the bot has lost X% after X amount of trades, automatically stop the bot, like a fail-safe part of this of the code? I would answer that question in a couple of parts. You could typically put that in if that's typically what you like to do, right? So, some people like to let things run, whereas some people like to get out. So there's a couple ways you can deal with that. Is you could keep track of the entire value of the portfolio, and when it's dropped so much in a given day, you could stop trading for the day. More commonly, people will use stop loss orders. They'll use limit orders to try to stop the amount of loss that they have. I know that with algorithms that I've made, and for clients in particular, I can think of a couple that we certainly had. If you hit X loss during the day, we stop for the day. That's it. And yeah, it's not uncommon at all, and it's quite easy to do in algorithmic trading, and it helps you to avoid sort of. One of my clients used to like to say, I used to say, are you in the markets right now? He goes, I don't understand the market right now. I don't know what's going on. And the algorithm helps you to do that, because if you're anticipating losing, say, 1 standard deviation of the volatility over the last week, and all of a sudden you're down at 1.5, then maybe your algorithm is not making sense right now, and it's time to stop until you can regroup and refigure things out. So yeah, for sure. So, Rob, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, Ani even wrote back, you can use stop loss orders, right? Like a lot of people use stop loss orders or bracket orders. That's another very common way of doing it.
So the last thing I was just going to show you, this is not really a strategy per se. I mean, I've kind of showed you some of these orders coming in here, but I sort of wrote, the problem with showing it on Coinbase is that you have to refresh your screen, and it's not the best, really. But I just wanted to show you a few orders popping up and closed. The point of what we were trying to show you, which we do in other presentations, say, for example, when we were using Alpaca or Interactive Brokers, it was we'd run a very fast trading strategy, and they would come up lightning quick. But this particular sandbox in Coinbase, it's not highly conducive to that. But we'll give it a shot just so you can see. I think I'm running this now every 10 seconds, where it's going to sort of launch a buy and sell of 4 stocks, every 10 seconds. So let's give this a shot. That'll be the end of that. So it's going to go down there, but I'm going to jump up right away and start refreshing my screen. See if it shows up here right away. So you can see some of the orders are coming up here to buy. These are going to fill almost immediately, and we should probably have some sales pretty quickly. And there should have been 4, but they've cleared off already. So it's not a great way to look at it, but we just thought we'd show you what we were trying to show you is that, and while it doesn't show well here, is that it actually does show well here. So these orders are happening. They're coming in and they're going out quickly. So you can see, like, you know, the orders are being issued. They're filling very quickly, and you know, this is every 10 seconds this is going on. What that means for you is if you have sort of a higher frequency trading need, you will have the ability to do that in Lumibot, no problem. The one thing I would say is some people go, well, why do I need to trade that fast? The example I like to give is I had a client I made an algorithm for where he had a time frame of, say, like every 3 minutes where he would trade. But one part of his algorithm was like he had to check it every second, and if that happened, then he was going to do a bunch of sales. But that was kind of a separate thing. So what we were able to do is we were able to literally check the markets like every half second, every 3/4 of a second, and usually do nothing. But once in a while we did everything. And so that, you know, was kind of like his get out thing. And at the same time, we're able to keep that 3-minute strategy going over top of it. And when, you know, his indicators would, you know, generate signals, then that would kick in. So that, you know, I think the point there we're just trying to show you with this exercise is that Lumibot can handle just, you know, anything other than super high frequency trading. Lumibot should be able to handle it for you. Okay. I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think that's it for me. I'll talk a little bit about this and then I'm going to pass it over to Rob. Let's see, there's a question here. So this is from Beancat. I'm just going to read this out. It's a question. This is related to your programming. Sports betting has lots of prediction sites. With your programming expertise, can you build a system which can browse several and produce one final output? I think lots of searching and parsing is required. Secondly, do you use AI in your algorithms? I'm not sure, Venkat, the first part, what you're asking. Maybe you could rephrase the question for us, but I think I'll let Rob answer the second part.
Yeah, so first off, sports betting stuff, we don't do that, right? I've had a lot of people ask about that.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure.
Sports betting, I think it'd be pretty interesting to make algorithms for sports betting. It's not what we do. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool, but it's quite different from all the stuff. The similarities, but there's differences. And then another question is, do you use AI algorithms in our strategies? Yes, we're going to be talking about AI and machine learning in this course. There's the last day of the course where we're going to be covering machine learning. So we'll go over the curriculum soon. But yeah, we do cover machine learning in this course as well. Of course, we're not going to go like deep into it because machine learning can get quite complex, but we'll teach you some basic machine learning that you can set up to trade crypto. All right.
So I guess I'll finish this slide off and then hand it back to Rob to close. What I wanted to talk a little bit about here, and sort of the heading's a little bit misleading. Technical analysis is the ability to do what we were just looking at, you know, sort of moving average, convergence, divergence indicators, you know, relative strength index, Bollinger Bands, and it just goes on and on and on. Stochastics. There's just a wide variety of things to help you try to determine with your particular market that you're looking at and your objectives, whether or not it's a good time to buy or sell. But what I wanted to really talk about in here is the fact that what I just showed you tonight, we had 2 different technical analysis libraries, which you would have barely noticed a difference on. One of them was my own, and then Hayden's code that he wrote very well, he uses a different library that I actually hadn't seen. And you know, between just those 2 libraries, you could be able to handle just about anything you want. But more importantly, the way that we've structured, and actually the way Rob conceived of this, LumiBot trading engine is a really, really powerful because we use pandas exclusively and NumPy arrays, but mostly pandas inside of where you're doing your calculations, which means that you can use all of the power of pandas, all of the power of the technical libraries that come with pandas. You can use SciPy, you can use you can use NumPy. These are incredibly powerful libraries that actually, these are the libraries that made Python what it is. And you can just bring them in, just pick and choose the stuff that you want to use them against your data, create signals, and off you go to the races. You don't have to, you've got all this incredible wealth of the Python library literally at your fingertips, and you just have to pull it in and use it, and you're good to go. So I just wanted to mention that here, because I think for me, having used other libraries extensively, for me, this is the one of the really powerful parts of using LumiBot is the ease with which you can generate signals, the ease with which you can manipulate data. It's a real treat to work with it. So that's all I got to say about demos and algorithms. Robert, I'll hand it over to you.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thanks, Neil. Great presentation. And actually, I don't know if you read the comments here, but Venkat says, your presentation is nice, excellent. So some good feedback for you there, Neil.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Cool. And then we also have another question here that I'm going to go through first with Ani. Yeah, excellent presenter. There you go. Some more good feedback. So Ani says, so just to clarify, you mentioned LumiBot can handle anything but high frequency trading. However, it is possible for me to make a bot intentionally made for high frequency trading, right? And then you mentioned later on also, Ani, is like what Rob mentioned when he just spent a couple of hours buying and selling repeatedly and pulled 1K in a couple of hours. Okay, so first of all, that was not high frequency trading. That was arbitrage. Okay, that thing where I was buying and selling, that is not high frequency trading. High frequency trading is something very different. Okay, high frequency trading is more like front running. High frequency trading is something that is actually quite difficult to do unless you have quite a bit of money, right?
Yeah, sorry, Rob. I was just going to jump in because sometimes we get lost in definitions. When I was saying high frequency trading, I was referring to the super high microsecond frequency trading that you need with things like where you can only do it with C++ or Rust or C, like those kind of like really base, like low level codes. That's what I meant by high frequency. Sub-second, it's no problem, but that's not really HFT.
Yeah, you can trade really fast with LumiBot, right? Like, second or we can even price it up to be less than 1 second, right? So that's not that difficult. High frequency, yeah, first of all, you have to do it. And do you mind switching to other slides, by the way?
Oh, I'm sorry. I lost track of what I was doing.
And back to the technical analysis. I'm going to speak a bit about that as well. But yeah, so high frequency trading, okay, if you want to do something like that, first of all, you need to write it in a different language and it needs to be hyper optimized. But that's not even the hard part, okay? The hard part is you need to pay for a server next to the exchange, right? So for example, if this exchange is in Malta, which a lot of them are, Bitcoin exchanges or crypto exchanges, you are going to have to buy a house next door to these people and put an exchange there, right? Or put your bot there, okay? That is not going to be easy to do. It's going to be very expensive, right? Maybe, if you have like whatever, $1 million or something, you probably do it, right? But it's not something that the average person can do. And honestly, neither would you want to do that. And a lot of exchanges are actually set up to specifically not allow high frequency trading. Like it's not, people don't really do that too much in crypto. However, some things that you can do, and you don't need to have a super fast bot for this, something like, LumiBot, which is already very fast, could do something like this, is you could do front running, or you could do something like that. But that's really more about what exchange you decide to go at, right? And it's about really monitoring this stuff quite quickly. And that kind of stuff you can build, right? It's really about the exchange and about the coins that you're looking at. So you can build that sort of thing if you'd like, right? So those are two separate things, right? So, there's high frequency, which is like trading super fast and trying to get ahead of people where they try to place a trade and you place it before them and you sell it to them for more, right? You can still pull that off. We're definitely fast enough to do that kind of thing. That's really more about the exchange. And then the other one is the arbitrage, and you could definitely do arbitrage using LumiBot. That is actually not, you don't have to be that fast to do it. You could definitely pull off arbitrage using, sub-second kind of stuff. Right? Cool, awesome. Thanks for those questions, Annie. To talk a little bit more about this technical analysis, right? Yeah, thanks, Annie. So Neil, do you want to switch back to
Yeah,
that?
sorry about that.
Yeah.
I was just clicking on the chat. It was on the wrong window.
Yeah, no problem. So on the technical analysis, right? I'm going to talk more on that. The slide
Oh,
before.
sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so first of all, so as Neil mentioned, there, he was using two different technical analysis libraries. One thing to put in plain English, right? The way that we built Lumibot is so that it's very easy to connect with anything, right? And I'm going to give you a few different examples here, right? So he used two different technical analysis libraries because we're using this thing at the core called pandas. You could use either one, but there's a lot more to them, right? There's so many of them out there. Like literally, I can give you a list of like 1,000 different indicators they could choose from, and you could very easily integrate that into your bots. We've built it in such a way because it's free, it's easy for you to do, right? So you could use all these different technical indicators or whatever it is that you want to do, right? It's free. Pandas gives you that flexibility, right? But it's not just about technicals, right? Like, I mean, I feel like everyone talks about technical analysis, right? And in crypto, it makes sense. Like people are actually making good money doing technical analysis in crypto, but there's so many other ways to make money. So if you want to flip to the next slide, so one of them, I'll give you one example, right? If you go to the next slide, Neil. Yeah. So here's one example, and you can connect to a lot of different things like this, like custom feeds, custom signals, APIs that are out there that are reading things. You can connect to things like Chainalysis. It's like reading, who is buying what, and did a whale just sell, and like all that kind of stuff. You can connect to those things like Chainalysis. You can connect to something like this, like Lunar Crush. This is one of our students that took our algorithmic trading course is obsessed with this. He's actually made a lot of money going through this, right? Where basically what it does is it analyzes social insights, right? So they have bots that are inside of Telegram, inside of Discord, inside of Twitter, reading all these different messages, Reddit and all that, and they aggregate all that information together, and they'll tell you this coin is trending. There's a lot of people talking about it, right? And there's a lot of really good influencers talking about it, right? So they'll give you like a really good indication of this coin's maybe about to take off, right? These guys have an API, right? Basically that allows you to connect your bot directly to them. These guys, I think you have to pay like $40 a month or something, one example, right? But you connect directly to them and they'll give you that indication, right? Like this coin's about to take off. Your bot can read that and automatically trade it for you, right? You could read Chainalysis, right? Connect to that directly with an API. There's a whale about to sell. Let's buy some Bitcoin, right? Like you could ride that wave, right? There's so many different things that you connect to. There's I was talking about before, a token sniffer, right? That'll help you figure out which one of these, like, small coins. I don't want to use the real word that we talk about in crypto, because this is a public forum, but the small coins that, whatever kind coins. But there's a lot of like diamonds in the rough out there. And if you use something like token sniffer, you could actually find the ones that are really going to be taking off, combine that with some technical analysis, you could really make a killing. This is stuff that's hard to do, individually, right? Because you have to monitor so many things and constantly be looking at them all the time. But you can add all this stuff into your bot. And that's the advantage of building this stuff with code and using something like Lumibot, which is very, very open to connect to a lot of different things. You could bring in all this data to fuel your bots and help you do all these different types of trades and make money off it, right? So in this class, we're going to give you quite a few different bots for you to start off with, right? We're going to give you all the bots that you saw today. We're going to give you some bots that use like social sentiment. We're going to give you bots that use machine learning. We're going to give you lots of different bots that you can start off with, right? But then, I mean, the point is really to teach you these skills so you can do all sorts of other crazy things, right? Because the things that really are going to make you a lot of money are these unique ideas that you come up with that no one else has come up with yet, and you could just like make some crazy returns. Like I told you, like I've spoken to, honestly, by the way, this is a big reason why we started this class, is because I just kept speaking to so many people that are just making so much freaking money using algorithms in this space. It's crazy. Like the amount of money that's in this is really quite nuts. And we've built this platform for you. We've spent a lot of time building out Lumibot that makes it very easy for you to plug in all these different types of things and get it going, right? So that's really what the course is about. And that's really what we're going to be showing you, right? So speaking of which, let's talk about the course. I think we have a thing here. So Annie, yeah, thanks. Okay, so speaking of the course, so let's talk about the actual course itself and what it entails and what we're going to do here. So do you want to click on that, Neil? And we can go through the course. There's that link. Right. So we've been alluding to this all day today. Right. And basically, so you can go to this page, and Neil, if you could please share this link as well in the chat, so that everyone has this link to this thing.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah. So yeah, so this is yeah, there you go. So we're gonna share this with you guys so you guys can follow along as well, right? But there's a lot of details in here that'll tell you about kind of what the course is about. You know, you've heard it from us, right? There it is, course details. If you could start from the top, Neil, right? So, you know, we have the course description. You can read it about the course itself. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we talked about today is kind of in there, right? You've had the presentation. So if you want to keep scrolling a bit. Yeah, there you go. So a little bit more, a little further, right? Let's go. You know, like we spoke about, you know, why use algorithms in crypto. We have, you know, kind of the outline there again. So you guys can kind of see all the different things I can do. Again, you know, trading 24 hours, lots of exchanges, trends moving very quickly, you know, lots of different assets. There's a lot of cool stuff there they could do. You can read about the course learning outcomes if you want to learn a little bit more about that as well, right? And then, but now what I want to focus on is this curriculum, right? So this is what the course is going to be about. And really, actually, what I want to say too is this is a live course, right? So even though I talk about this curriculum here, when you guys are in the course and you guys have questions or you want to learn something a little different or you want us to focus on something, we can do that, right? Because it is a live course, right? Like a lot of times, like people have like asked questions, like, yeah, sure, I'll write the code for you, like here on the fly, right? That's a really cool part about this, right? So I want to start off with by saying that. But the course, the way that we've structured it is really 3 parts, okay? And we want to get you as quickly as possible having your own algorithm, even if you don't know how to code, right? So the first part is really going to get your Python fundamentals down, all right? You know, week 1 is course introduction. You're going to get to know other people in the class. We're going to get your computer set up, make sure that you have everything up and running so that you can get started with things. Then weeks 2 and 3, we're going to focus on Python, the typical kind of stuff like, you know, how do you code in Python, hello world, lists, dictionaries, loops, functions, classes. We're going to do, those are weeks 2 and 3. I was speaking with Neil about this as well. And we want to put actually even that you get started with your algorithm even right away. So you're learning Python within algorithms, right? So we want to do that really quickly for you so you can jump in there. But we're going to teach you kind of the basics of Python there. Part 2 is really when we're going to get into the crypto bot. So we're going to get you set up with the crypto bot. I'm going to show you how to connect to different brokerages, right? So again, we have 3 different brokerages. Show you how to connect to all those, right? We're going to show you how to install the Lumiwealth library, how to get moving with that, right? And we're going to have you actually place some trades, right? So by week 4, you're going to be placing some trades, and you're going to actually be executing this stuff, right? Week 5, we're going to go over back testing, right? So kind of like what Neil showed you, how do you actually check if your strategy is a good idea or not, right? We're going to go through all that sort of stuff, right? Make sure that you have good actual strategies. And then part 3, we're going to give you lots of different example bots, right? So in part 3, we're going to go over, you know, technical analysis bots, all this stuff here. We'll show you how to do that. It's quite easy to like flip it around, right? If you want to do MACD or if you want to do, you know, RSI or whatever it is you want to do, it's quite easy for you to flip around all that different kind of stuff. And we're going to show you how to create this crypto ETF, where you can like basically customize an ETF for yourself and build that sort of thing. Cover that in week 6. Week 7, we're going to teach you how to connect all these different APIs, right? How do you trade based on social sentiment? How do you get things from like, you know, token sniffer and whatnot, like all these other types of API integrated services. We'll teach you how to integrate with those and use that within your bot. And then week 8, we're going to get into machine learning with crypto, right? And we have an entire class on machine learning. So it's not going to be like a super highly detailed thing. We'll give you a bot that trades using machine learning. And we're going to show you specifically how to modify that and how to use machine learning within the crypto space, right? Okay, so that's the curriculum. We have different course plans, right? So so we have 3 course plans. We have a self-directed plan, we have a live plan, and a little lower we have a project help and tutoring plan. Okay. So starting with our self-directed, kind of like, kind of what it sounds like. It's pre-recorded videos. You're basically going to watch. This is, by the way, not going to be available until after the live class, right? Because it is literally a recording of the live class. So you'll be able to watch that. But you're still going to get access to all the code. You're still going to get access to, our community, because we have a Discord community where you can get to know other people in the space. And you'll still be able to ask questions to Neil and myself if you need help with anything, right? We'll still be available for that. The live classes, though, is definitely by far our most popular type of plan. Live classes being kind of like this, right? Like live over Zoom, right? Except you guys can turn on your microphones, you guys can turn on your cameras. It doesn't have to be through chat, right? And you can ask questions, right? So let's say Neil is showing you how to do something. You can be like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Or like explain that differently. Or, you can be stuck on something and say, hey, what do you think about this? And he can like help you through that. We do a lot of screen sharing, right? Where like some other people can share their screens and, I'm stuck. So let's walk through that and we'll help you actually fix it on your computer. So it's very different than just like watching lectures, right? Like when you watch a lecture, it's like when you get stuck, try to figure it out, right? Whereas in a live lecture kind of situation, when you get stuck, we'll actually get on this call with you, or we'll already be on the call with you and be able to help you get unstuck really quickly. I say this pretty often, where, I've taught a lot of people to learn how to code, right? To how to code. And it's inevitably the same thing every single time. It's like this. It's like you're learning how to code and things seem great. Then you get stuck on something and it takes you 10 hours to get unstuck, right? Tell me if you've ever experienced that, right?
It still happens.
Right. So it's really helpful to have someone help you get unstuck. Instead of spending that 10 hours of banging your head against the wall and saying, why isn't this working? Honestly, like it's funny. Like people have come to me and say, I can't figure this out. I spent 3 hours doing it. We jump on a 5-minute call and I have a fix for them. You know what I mean? Like save yourself the trouble. We'll help you get through that. We'll help you actually build this bot out with as little pain as possible, right? So live class is really good for that sort of thing, where again, it's live over Zoom, and we're going to be teaching you this directly, and you can ask questions during the class. Also, another feature about our live classes is that you can retake them as many times as you want, right? So let's say this sort of thing happens, right? Is people start taking a class and then life happens, right? They have a baby or they change jobs or they're moving or whatever, right? You're more than welcome to take the class as many times as you want to for the live class. Okay, you're able to do that sort of thing. And again, you have access to all the code. And not only do you have access to code, you have code going forward forever. So if Lumibot changes, we've added some new features, you get access to that. If we've discovered some really cool new trading algorithms, you get access to that. If we've modified any of our algorithms because we found this little tweak will make it better, you have access to that. And you have access to our community forever as well. So you're really going to be, this is not just during this 8-week period, which is it's an 8-week course, you're going to have access to this forever, all right? That's part of a live class. So again, it's self-directed, which is like access to the videos, you get code and all that sort of thing. Live classes are actually live, right? You get more support and more help with this sort of thing, right? And then the most premium thing that we have is our project help and tutoring plan, which really, if you need a lot of help, you want us to like tutor you one-on-one on top of what you're doing here, or if you have a specific project that you want to have built, we can actually sit down and write code for you, right? We'll really go the extra mile when we do this project help and tutoring. It's like our white glove service. You get everything from the other plans plus more. So it really keeps upgrading, right? So self-directed, you get the videos and code. Live classes, you get all that. Plus, you get the live class aspect of it. You get lots of support, lots of help. And then project help and tutoring is you really get a lot of help. Like we'll sit down. I mean, the people in the past have bought project help and tutoring. Like, I mean, I've spent hours with them, helping them out and making sure that things work for them. And they've built some really cool stuff, let me tell you. Some of our students have really wild imaginations that have built some really cool stuff. Right, so those are the 3 plans. When you scroll down here, you'll see the pricing for all of them, right? So our self-directed plan is $1,500, right? Our live plan is $3,500 approximately, and our project help and tutoring is $5,283. All of these have payment plans available, right? So there are 3-month and 5-month payment plans. You pay it all up front, or you can pay it in 3 months or over 5 months, right? And then also, which we don't have on here, I think if you scroll down, actually, if you click on select options, it'll go down automatically, but if you can scroll down too. All right, scroll down here. So, oh, no, we missed it. There we go. So this is an upcoming live class, okay? So this class is going to be starting on March 27th. Right now we have a special going on, right? So we have an early bird special where you can save 20% if you buy it by the 26th, which is Saturday and 2 days from now, right? So you can use that coupon code. You can save yourself 20% on the live class. That'll save you $700. That's great. You know, you can save $700 if you buy it by Saturday, right? And this class, the live class starts. The registration closes March 20th. The course starts March 27th, so about a month from now, right? We're starting this class. The class is 8 weeks long. We recommend about 8 to 12 hours per week. We say this for all of our classes. It really depends. If you have a lot of coding experience, you don't need to spend as much. This is just what we recommend. You know, some people will spend more, some people will spend less, right? Obviously, if you spend more time on this, you'll have better algorithms and better outcomes, right? The class is going to be on Sundays, right? Which means that this is very work friendly. It doesn't matter what time zone you guys are in. If you have a regular 9 to 5 job, this will be very easy for you guys to attend. It's at 5 p.m. Eastern on Sundays or 3 p.m. Pacific, right? So very easy to attend this class. Each lecture is about 2 hours. So we lecture for about 2 hours every Sunday, right? It's going to be live, so you can ask questions to Neil or myself when I'm there as well, because again, I'm going to be guest lecturing on a couple of these. So you can ask questions throughout. If you ever get stuck or anything, we'll be more than happy to jump on calls with you. I know Neil is very good at this too. He spends a lot of time with his students. He's actually a fantastic instructor. Really spends a lot of time and cares a lot about making sure that everyone has this stuff going. As you heard earlier, this is his passion. He loves doing these algorithms, which is great. And yeah, so again, course starts soon. If you guys want to save money, make sure you buy by Saturday. You can save yourself at $700, right? And that coupon code is right there. Just use that LAE, yeah, that one right there, the LAEB, right? And you can like click on the select course. It'll take you through the purchase page, and you'll be able to actually fill in that. Yeah, so there you go. So there's that coupon. They could fill it in there, right? Okay, you just have to copy that coupon over and put it in. Right, and then if you go back, you can still keep scrolling down. There's a bit more about the course. You can read about Neil if you want. We have his LinkedIn as well if you want to check him out on LinkedIn. And then we also have a bunch of testimonials from our past students. We have a lot more than this. You can actually go to our testimonials page. We have quite a bit more. I'll be honest with you, we have even more than that. You know, we just need to actually upload them. But if you want to hear about some of our past students, watch these videos, read the text. You know, don't take it from me. You know, we've had a lot of happy customers, a lot of happy students. Take a read about what they've done. I could tell you about a couple of them. Agim is very active in our Discord. You've probably seen him if you've been on our Discord. You could talk to him. He's very available. He's really into this stuff. You know, Santayan, if you scroll down a bit more, this guy is like a freaking genius. I actually heard him today. He made like a ton of money today trading. Just because of the wild swings of the market. He actually made quite a bit of money today. The last I heard, he was making algorithms trading stocks and making like 500% a year. That's the last thing that I heard from him. I could only imagine what he's doing with crypto these days. I haven't asked for his returns in a while, but I know he's been doing very well. Joel's another great one. He's built some really cool stuff as well. And then there's that little rotating thing that you can read. You know, some other students that have taken our courses. People have taken our courses, they've built great bots, they've made lots of money. People have taken our courses and have gotten jobs, right? I could tell you about one of our students that got a job at Goldman Sachs. Another one got a job at Bank of America. You know, so if you want to learn how to code, and this is like a great portfolio project, if you want to go into any one of those companies, I think they would love to see this on your resume. Or you could just use it to make money. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of different possibilities here, right? But anyways, you guys have the page there. Again, we have the sale going on for the next 2 days. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. I think we have a couple of questions here. So Preston asks, if you do the personal tutoring project package, can I get your help ASAP? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Preston, if you wanna jump on that, yeah, for sure. We can absolutely get involved, help you build out whatever algorithm that you're looking to build, for sure. Absolutely. And keep this in mind. Actually, with this class right now, we don't have the recordings available yet. They won't be available until after the course starts. But if you do want to have help immediately, then yeah, you can take that project help tutoring, and we can. I mean, what we usually do is project help and tutoring. We'll schedule a kickoff call, right? Maybe we do a kickoff call with Neil and myself both there, and we'll listen to what you want to have built, and we can start working on that. You know, absolutely. Ani asks, how do we apply for the 5-month payment plan? So Ani, when you go through and when you purchase, the second page, you like hit continue. There'll be like a little radio box there. We could pick 5 months, 3 months, whatever. It's like the next page after you hit continue, right? So can you walk through a checkout process? Yeah, so let's walk through it. Do you want to walk through it here, Neil? All right, so let's take that coupon code first of all, right? Let's take the coupon code and just copy that. All right, there we go. Go into select course, right? And then we'll type that coupon code in there, right? This is again valid for 2 days, apply coupon, right? You have the course twice in there, Neil. Yeah, you got to change the quantity to 1. All right, so there you go, update cart. Okay, so see here, so you're saving $700, again, available till Saturday, and hit proceed to checkout, right? On the next page. And that's where you'll see the 3-month and the 5-month payment plans, right? So you click on pay with payment plan right there, right? And then you can pick the 3-month or the 5 months, okay? Right? There's a little bit of savings if you pay up front. If you pay 3 or 5-month payment plans, it's a little bit more expensive, but you do get to pay over a period of time, right? Cool, awesome, no problem, no problem. Great, cool. Do you want to flip back to slides now, Neil? Yeah, so there you go. So that's the checkout process. And then, yeah, so great presentation, Neil, by the way. Thank you very much for all that.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions, guys? What questions do you guys have? We're still here. I know, thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you for being here. I'll give you guys a little bit of time to type all this stuff out. I know sometimes it takes some time to type out a question. So whatever questions you guys have, you know, let us know. Can we get a link to the site again? Yeah, do you still have that handy, Neil?
Which site? The Lumibot?
No, to the website. I'll get this here. I'll post this.
I got it. This one here. Yeah.
I post it. Yeah, Matthew, thank you for you being here. I appreciate that. And then, so that's the link to the course. And then Fernando's also asking a link to the slides. So I'll send that over as well. So here's a link to the slides. Right. So first link is to the course. And then again, and maybe you could show people as well, Neil, if they go to lumiwealth.com, it's pretty easy to find. Do you want to show them that really quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So if you just go to lumiwealth.com, right?
I'm actually just going to
find
type
it.
it.
You
So
see it in our emails. Yeah.
So we just start fresh. So lumiwealth.com.
Yep. And you guys can see us on all our emails and all that. And all you do is look at courses, hover over courses, and there's the first one there at the top, crypto trading using algorithms, right? So you can find it that way as well, right? So even if you don't have the link, it's pretty easy to find. Lumiwealth is the name of our company. You know, we show up first in Google, right? It's on all of our emails, you know, it comes from Lumiwealth. And then you just click on courses, crypto trading, right? We'll also be sending out some information after this as well. So you get a couple of emails from us to do that as well. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, guys. It's really a fun presentation. This is awesome. We had a packed house today. We had a lot of people. Definitely a lot of interest in this, and I don't blame you guys. I think this stuff is awesome. You know, it's very, very cool. These different types of bots that we can run. Yeah, lots of money to be made.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, guys? You guys have been a great group, by the way. Really enjoyed this for all you guys. Thank you. Thanks, Ani.
Yeah, I'd like
Thanks,
to say again,
Preston.
thanks to everyone for coming out, and you have been a great group. And I really hope some of you are able to sign up and come out and join us. I like to have a lot of fun when we're doing the course, and I really look forward to meeting you guys there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a really fun course. Hope to see you guys there. This will be great. All right, cool. If you guys still have any other questions after this, you can ask us on Discord. Like I said, we're very active on Discord. You have all these emails from us. You could just reply to the emails. We'll answer it as well. You know, send a carrier pigeon. We'll answer it. Yeah.
Nice, Andy.
Okay.
Andy says he's going to hammer through Python Refresher for the next 48 hours.
Okay.
He's going to
Great.
buy on Saturday.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to reach out, Andy, if you got any questions. Okay.
And also keep in mind, we do a Python refresher as well in the class. So don't feel like you have to do that either, right? When you buy the course, you also get access to like these free classes on Python that come with pretty much all of our courses. So you get a lot of content there as well. Cool, awesome. All right, thanks, Ani. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for being on this call with us. This was absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Neil. I thought this was absolutely great. And I hope to see you guys in the course.
All right. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Have a good night, guys.